Record. Hello and welcome, everybody. The regular season of BAMS 9 is complete. We have entered the playoffs, and this was the most dramatic finish to any regular season in BAM's history. Check it with BAMlytics department. Yes. So we have T Gangbang and Shayski as our two bye teams getting to sit out this week as we have a battle among the Commish, Derek and Derek's Red team, and then King of T Hill and the Fianna. So that completes the six that were able to make it. I missed by 25 points despite running the table in the last 3 weeks and having an 8-6 record. Not enough for me. So that's what we got going on. How we doing, Commish? On the road. This is safe stuff.
Great. We are on the road. Safe stuff. I'm going to jump right into a quick what a game segment. How about Shayski starting off the season drafting De'Ami Brown? Just the laughing stock, not the laughing stock, but the joke. That's the joke of the draft.
Yeah.
And
We're not saying Shay. We're saying the move was the laughing stock of the draft.
yes. And then not only that, but I think he had a couple down weeks early on, and I think that's the origins of Shea Heaters, is just the blind optimism that he's going to do well after like a 70-point performance. And like we said, he's spoken into existence and he's got the bye. Congratulations to Shea.
I'll stop you there too, because we talked about amassing draft picks and how you can't win the league in the draft. Shea, right there, number 2 spot, first round bye, drafted De'Ami Brown in the 3rd round. Unreal. And then I look also at, you recalled when Shea was talking about that he had that optimistic push of like, it's go time, like watch out, it's happening. That was spurred by like his waiver wire addition of Tyler Higbee, who has been irrelevant for the past month in fantasy. So it's just like, you could think you have it figured out. You could think that someone has made terrible moves, whatever. It doesn't matter. The unpredictability of fantasy football, that's why we play. We love it. So Shay's Heaters down the stretch, and we'll get into the storylines of how absolutely insane this breakdown was. Is there anything else you want to run into before we tell the story of what happened Monday night?
No, I jumped the gun a little bit. You asked how I'm doing, where I'm at, so taking it back a little bit. I am on site again. BAM's on site. It's been a big part of these vlogcasts this year, and I'm currently on Interstate 90, leaving the busy city of Chicago. Currently 17 miles an hour in traffic, so nothing new there. Snow. We got a little bit of precipitation right now. Brake lights everywhere. And Tim, the only thing worse than sitting in traffic like I am right now, pardon the tunnel, is the speed at which my projected points on Sunday dropped. And just call it masochism, call it what you will, just sitting on a couch watching football that I wasn't sitting on a couch, but following football on your phone that nothing all day benefited you. I think I had a couple touchdowns from Goff. Gosh, if I didn't have Goff on my team, it was a sad day for the commissioner, and to kind of rub salt in the wound. I was playing just a beast of a day from Tree Hill's team. I don't know. I'm driving.
I got you.
Who's King of T Hill? Who his projected total just skyrocketed while mine dropped. So that disparity just was depressing, and the only thing worse than sitting in traffic right now. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Looking into what was the playoff picture, it was me having the least likelihood. I was on the outside looking in. The people who were in jeopardy of getting completely bounced included King of T Hill. There was a possibility for Shea, I believe, to get knocked out. Baloney Cowboys, who we will get to, did suffer ill fate, and Derek's rad team. So for me, I needed a bunch of stuff to happen. I needed Derek's rad team to beat the Baloney Cowboys. They did. I needed myself to beat the Fianna. I did. There was one last piece of this puzzle, and that was you beating King of T Hill, and you lost by 70. So
Yeah.
that was you being a bad friend, and that's why I have not made the playoffs. So thank you for that. So that is my perspective, but then we'll get into some things here. So we'll hit on your matchup quickly. As you said, it was projected to be a 1 point difference. It ended up being a 60-point difference, and it was just everything that could possibly happen well for King of T Hill did happen. Easily and emphatically punched his ticket to the playoffs. It was Hurts, Thielen, T Hill, Derrick Henry, and then Jerick McKinnon with just these like 40-yard screen pass studies. So it was a lot to handle.
Jerick McKinnon, I'm going to cut you off real quick just because I'll forget it. Jerick McKinnon scoring 29 points led me to this silver lining that hopefully you can benefit from here to make you feel a little better about not coming through. But it's not. I found solace in the fact that it's not like I could have won if I played someone else. Like it was just like the stars aligning for King of T Hill. 29 points from Jerick McKinnon is hilarious. I turned my phone off. Literally turned my phone off when I saw that.
And I mean, Bam Knight giving him 16. That was a waiver wire pickup 2 weeks ago. His fourth Jets running back of the year, big down the stretch. So yeah, I mean, it was just all aces coming up for King of T Hill. Flip side, we'll quickly get. I'll try to be as I was gonna say swift as possible, but really, Jared Goff, great pickup. That was a waiver wire pickup that was hotly contested. That is what caused one of the factors in Fianna not having a great week was missing out on Goff. Amon-Ra, he did solid, but then Stephon Diggs getting you 5. T. Higgins with the very late drama of him being just completely for health reasons, just a scratch. Minutes before kickoff of that game, nothing you could do. Baby boy, Travis Etienne, rough go, 3 points. DeAndre Swift. It was promising that he was beginning to get those double-digit touches against the Minnesota defense. That's not that good, only 6. George Kittle, luckily, looking ahead into the playoffs, had himself a night last night, so bounce back, but it was like his 3rd consecutive week of trash. And then depth piece, the D stands for depth, DK Metcalf, 16. So it was weird. Like the best players for your week were Jared Goff, DK Metcalf, and the Kansas City defense. Knowing how stacked your team is, it's hard to expect a lot to come if your primetime performers are not pulling through. So looking ahead to this week in the playoffs, you're in a much better position. Positive regression for you. It was just a weird week. And like you said, the universe just told you it's just not happening this week. Don't even have any hopes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm in a good position now. Coming into last night, I needed Kittle to put something up and DK to not bend over because my running back room has suddenly just turned into just mediocre depth. I'm in a situation where I can't drop anyone on my team because they're just good enough, but no one's really producing huge as far as like the bench players go, the Dylans, the Swifts, the Pierces, the Entenmans, it's just muck. It's muck is my bench right now. And they're too good to drop, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, it's a good start. I'll take it for Derek's team.
And knowing that you're driving, I will cover some of the matchups here. So
yeah, I'll pull them up. You know what? I don't need that. I can get in on this. We'll be quick. I'll do a quick one. Hammocks and Groles, the Brock Purdy matchup, if you will, the irrelevant matchup. It was 93-80. Hammocks, nothing changed as far as the standings go. If I recall, Ford's in last, Groles is in second to last, and then Hammocks is in third to last. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this matchup. You got Trevor Lawrence, who I did get buzz from girls throughout the weekend about Trevor Lawrence being another keeper and how pumped he is for the draft. I can't wait for draft day Gurley next year. Almost as excited as
He's going to be insufferable.
Draft day Gurley next year. And then, as I mentioned in the thread yesterday, bye week Shea is going to be fantastic as well.
Yes. That's the stuff. Quick note on Groles. Like, if you go through the draft and like who was drafted in rounds 12, 13, and 14, they're all on Groles' team. Groles has just loaded his team with anybody that has been drafted late. He will be meeting the 3 maximum of keepers, and I think he'll have 9 different players to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
The man has been meticulous this year.
Yes. He has. So yeah, I think that's my big takeaway is Lawrence. And then I mean, there's not much notable. You got Tony Pollard, but that's old news that he's been producing. So we can move on to a more relevant matchup if you got one on your mind.
We'll stay in the irrelevant section just because T Gangbang, the T stands for the, almost loses to the Hotspurs. Like, just wild that the Hotspurs almost had two heads mounted on the mantle that could have been the Commish and Gangbang for the year. So wild times for the Hotspurs with Gangbang in a irrelevant game. They had the number 1 spot locked up, but only a 7-point victory there. So interesting stuff. Got to see if Gangbang is going to just reload, get their mind right for something better than a 111-point output when they return to action next week. We'll shout out Shea here. He was in a position where if things went really wrong, he could have been booted. If things went really right, he could get himself a bye spot, and that's exactly what happened, beating Diesel guys by 20, a 117 score for Shayski this week. I mean, I would say this bye week is brought to you by Shay's Heaters, sponsored by Marlboro Menthols. If you want to relax during a bye week and watch people battle it out with no worries or cares, spark up a Marlboro Menthol. So enjoy that sweet smoke. I can't wait to join Shay on Sunday and rip a couple of those. So Shay, Mahomes, Lockett, Devontae Smith, Eckler, DJ Shark in his flex spot was quite the move. So those were the heaters for the week. Shay beats Diesel guys pretty soundly and cements the number 2 spot, getting himself a bye and being able to sit out this week.
We had some impactful waiver wire pickups this weekend. I don't know if McKinnon was, but I'll put him in that because it's close enough. But between him, Goff, and then Chark, I'm sure there's others. I'll take a look while you're talking about the matchups. But good little waiver segment this past week. And let's see. How's that for input?
It was great.
We're speeding up here, so I got a couple things on focus right now.
I get it. All right. So then we do myself, Hardo versus Fiana. I need the win. I get the win. Tough finish for the Fiana because they had aspirations for top scorer on the year. I think they were only like 15 points behind Gangbang. So them putting up 100 was a tough go. We knew that last week when we did the pod because Derek Carr had only put up 4.5 points on Thursday night. So he was playing from behind, but it is tough times in the city here for Fiana because Saquon Barkley looks to be breaking down from his absurd usage earlier on in the season. And then he's still working through and trying to reassemble a team after losing Lamar Jackson. He needed this bye to give Lamar Jackson an extra week to recover. And him losing to me, number one, him only putting up 100 points takes him out of the high score on the season. So no money for Fiana there. And then him losing to me, cost him that bye, and now he's in the mix this week, having to work with another patchwork QB slotting in for Lamar. So he needed some time to recover, but nope, he's being thrown back to the Wolves this week. He's got to battle it out against T. Hill. So those were the noteworthy pieces, and a very slight piece of drama to what was a drama-filled Monday night was that Fiana did not need much to beat me and possibly get that bye spot instead of Shea. He had DeAndre Hopkins and the Arizona D, and Kyler Murray dying on the third play of the game. That tanked DeAndre Hopkins' ceiling, and then Arizona was just gross against New England. So it was like those projections, even into the fourth quarter, like paper thin, Fiana should have this. There was even a Arizona scoop and score that was called back due to
I didn't see that.
It being an incomplete pass instead of a fumble and return. So there were literal points where he had theoretically sealed the week that were taken off the board. Gets him to take the L for this week and gets him in the playoff battle for this week. So that's a little breakdown there for the matchup with Fiana.
That was one of the most miserable games to watch. Just all the factors in, and just layered on for who Fiana. He struggled in it, but Grimmer too. And we're gonna get into that. Just adding on to the miserable aspect of that game was I couldn't watch it. So when you said that they called back a fumble return, I had no idea, because I turned that off pretty quick. Everyone's getting killed. Everyone's dying.
Well, let's get into the misery. The matchup of the Baloney Cowboys versus Derek's Rad team. This was like 3 layers deeper than the most insane drama I've ever seen. It was like, we're going into that night. Derek's Rad team, change it, has a sizable lead on the Baloney Cowboys. At this point, we were calling them the Baloney Cardinals, but it was the lead of Derek's Rad team. But Derek didn't have much going for him Monday night. Baloney Cowboys had some bullets in the chamber because they had Kyler Murray going that night, and they had James Conner going that night. So if the Cardinals had any sort of success, it was going to be a shoo-in that the Baloney Cowboys would topple Derek's Rad team and seal in their final spot into the playoffs. Kyler Murray tears his ACL on the third play of the game. So that happens, and the Baloney Cowboys, Grimmer immediately was like, well, that was fun. It's over. The BAMS text thread was on fire. It was the best. So he's just like, well, that was fun. It's over. I love the oblivious, just like, whoa, so early. What happened? so then we have to explain. Oh, like Kyler Murray.
It was the first couple plays, second play, right?
Third play of the game. And it was like so clear. It was like non-contact, like down, nobody touch him, get him on the cart, like the ACL-iest ACL tear of all time.
Grimmer complaining that he didn't run far enough before tearing his ACL was an all-time complaint. And that was a complaint corner for the ages.
So we're like, oh, this is over, because actually Derek's Rad team has Ramondre Stevenson. So that was the setup, was that Baloney Cowboys have Kyler and James Conner. So they got some firepower, but they needed all of it. Kyler goes down, and now it's like, oh, well, Ramondre is going to put Baloney Cowboys away. A little later in the first quarter, Ramondre Stevenson goes down with an injury. I think it's an ankle or something, but like, yeah, he's down. And it's just Undertaker gif, like, oh my God, Pete's back in it. If Ramondre stays out and James Conner can have himself a night, the Baloney Cowboys have risen from the dead and they can beat Derek's Rad team. So then we're like, with this setup, Derek's red team has still safely got it. James Conner would have to go off to give the baloney Cowboys a chance. And that's what James Conner did. He quickly, I think in like the first quarter, gets in the end zone
right
and
away. Yeah.
he's spicy hot. He's unreal. And so now it's turned the tides again that Grimmer's going to do this thing. And Ramondre stays out. Connor having himself an unreal night. We're getting into the fourth quarter. Their Cardinals are behind. They need points. And it just got to, I think it got to a point where New England, the Cardinals needed to get a stop on New England to then get the ball back and have one more time. And now we'll get into where the score was at this point. It's Derek's Rad team at 93.6 and Baloney Cowboys at 92.9. So we're talking less than a point difference between these two. If the Cardinals can just get the ball back, maybe they dump a ball off to James Conner or give him one carry, and that can do it and get the Cowboys into the playoffs. New England gets the first down, take some kneels, call it a night. One of the most devastating emotional roller coasters I've ever been a party to. Absolutely heartbreaking, and a crestfallen Baloney Cowboys fall less than 1 point short of Derek's Rad team. Derek's Rad team advances to the playoffs. What a game.
What a game indeed. And the immediate RSVP no to BAMS Christmas from Baloney Cowboys as soon as he takes the L. Which has since flipped, and we're excited to have him in attendance, but that was very funny. Just a great night. As bad as my Sunday was, it was nice to kind of be separated from that and enjoy all the emotions, good and bad.
Yeah, it was so bad that I was like, I'd rather just be eliminated from the playoffs than be that close. Like that was I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think he canceled his December. I don't think he was going to see his family for the holidays. Like that was brutal.
Putting him in a hotel for the next week. All right. Is that the last matchup? That was the big one.
That's everything. We had to build it up. That was the knockout punch.
God, what a finish. BAM's just always getting better. Okay, so some noteworthy money notes. So as we mentioned, the T Gangbang, took home the 175. Big winner for that, for the most points. Congrats to them. Derek, Rad team, actually having an eventful year. He won Survivor. He took home the unlucky prize, and then he's making the playoffs. So Derek's having some fun this year. What else do we got? Is that it for we got unlucky, most points? And then
Gangbang wins,
T
right?
Hill.
Or
Gangbang wins most points. T Hill though for the week, just a huge week for him.
$50 bill. Last of the season goes to T Hill.
Last of the season, $50 bill T Hill, and the biggest week of the year. I hold on to that early in the season. It was like 182 points or something like that. So had to slip that in there. What else? I'm kind of torn on who's going to die, because a couple weeks ago we benefited from not saying anything, but then last week I really took it hard. So the whole karma thing of not predicting deaths is off the table for me. So I'm indifferent where you're at on that. Do you want to predict some deaths or no?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm out. I hadn't planned on any of this, but we'll bounce around a little bit. Okay. We'll go. I have to start because it's just a bitter heart. It's a lover scorn that James Robinson just never came back from his Achilles tear, and I sold him at the absolute worst part of the season. It's got to be a death for Travis Etienne. Sorry, but he's the baby boy. I don't know why I hate him, but I do. And I think it's because it's like the Jags will be playing not the Baloney Cowboys, but the Dallas Cowboys. And I think it's like the first time in a long time that it's going to be national exposure of a like Jags home game. So like I think the Jags are getting up for this as like this is our coming out party of like showing the world that we can perform on a national stage and we deserve to be a part of the national conversation. And maybe it's just like ETN I think it'll just be like blown up on a screen pass. So knocked out for the game, which I think I'm going for this because you had yourself quite the Thursday night, and I want to even up the score here because DK Metcalf and George Kittle had themselves a nice night, and you are currently projected to beat Derek's Rad team by 18 right now. Nobody has gone for Derek's Rad team yet. And shout out to the scoop of Damian Harris in place of Ramondre Stevenson. Nice little fill in for Derek's Rad team. So that's a combo of a death prediction and a little breakdown of the one of the two playoff matchups that we've got going. Then we'll flip it to Fianna and King of T Hill. This one is close. We touched on the troubles of the Fianna. I'll just go ahead and attack the QB of Fianna off the bat. Aaron Rodgers. This is about as easy as it gets. Monday night, that's going to be the drama. That will be the drama because Fianna's going to be right on the precipice of victory. Mm-hmm. Monday night, Aaron Rodgers trying to put King of T Hill away, and little concussion. I think Aaron Rodgers' concussion would really hit the spot. That will be the nail in the coffin for the Fianna this year. But it will be possibly offset by, this is very possible, in fact, but the namesake at receiver, King of T Hill. We're going to call a T Hill injury for this week. And I don't even think it's a big deal. It's like they'll be playing in Buffalo. It's like I was catching everyone by storm, and pun intended, that weather could be bad in Buffalo. And it's like, why is this a 7-point spread? Saturday night game, going to be sick. But Miami in Buffalo, Miami was using like heaters in like a 58-degree game recently. So they're
not to be confused with Shea heaters.
Correct.
Very different heaters.
So like heaters on the benches for a 58-degree day. So they are in no way ready for this. Their offense has been trending down. And I think bringing that Ferrari of T Hill into Buffalo is going to mean bad things. And it's going to be that Ferrari tune-up problem where it's like, it's just going to be a soft tissue injury. Like you're just not meant to go this fast and be this muscular in these conditions. So that's going to be a T Hill injury Saturday night. So I think that's how this is going to go, is that T Hill will get injured Saturday night. We think it's going to be wide open for Fianna. And then that's going to be the absolute killer, is that Monday night, Aaron Rodgers early in that game goes down with a concussion. King of T Hill advances. So those are the breakdowns of the two playoff matchups we have this week. I think the story right now is that you are looking good in the driver's seat off of that awesome Thursday night over Derek's Rad team right now, but we'll see how things play out. The Fianna King of T Hill is a close one. King of T Hill finishing the regular season strong. Fianna going out with a whisper. Got to see if Fianna can reload and make a comeback, especially given that they made that late season buy now trade of giving away Kenny Walker and Chase to get himself DeAndre Hopkins and Saquon Barkley. Some win now pieces in the case of Barkley, not a keeper. So you want to hope that those bets pay off for the Fianna. So that's what we got in the playoff breakdown for this week.
Do you have, I wrote some things down here. Do you know when the Cowboy Jaguars game is? You mentioned it was national.
Let me pull that up. I think it's the late afternoon game.
Okay.
It's so funny too, because I'm like, I wanted to look it up, and I'm like, I'll just go to the Baloney Cowboys team to verify It's
Yeah.
the easiest way to get to the Cowboys.
Um, I asked that
Sunday
because
noon game. It'll be. I think it's the Fox game.
okay. You mentioned that little boy Entenmann's is going down. You know, joke might be on you because he hasn't even earned a starting spot on my team. I'm not sure he's playing.
Oh,
So we got and for no other reason than I just have Muck, like I mentioned, but we got Wilson that's hurt, the running back for Miami. So I might have Mostert in. I might have Dylan. I might have Swift. Who knows? But yeah, Entenmann's hasn't earned anything. So we'll see where he ends up. And maybe I don't play him, and maybe he has a good game finally, and so goes fantasy football. But I wanted to make that point. Second, you mentioned Derek picking up Damian Harris, scooping him on the waivers. Kudos to him. He deserves a little shout out here. If you noticed, I looked on the waiver priority after that, and he didn't move his waiver priority. And I looked, he picked up Damian Harris right around 2:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So I texted him. He's like, yeah, you know, I was up in the middle of the night, and so I picked up Damian Harris while I was doing it. So kudos to him for just always thinking fantasy football. Middle of the night, get out of the way. So I wanted to shout out a little compliment to Derek there. So
I love it.
And waiver prior. Yeah, go ahead.
One fun fact about these things is I actually got a thing from work that I got to attend to. So I'm happy that we were able to cover most of the things going on now, but I do actually have to bounce. And that's the fun that's the fun kookiness of this old vlogcast of ours. We're the little swashbuckling pirates, baby.
Hey guys, love ya. See you Sunday. Merry Christmas.
Bye guys. Love you. See you Sunday.
Bye.
The 18th. Have fun. Bye.